What if I told you, right now, that every certainty you hold about Bitcoin could vanish in the time it takes to boil an egg? Would you feel the fear crawling up your spine, whispering that everything you knew was just borrowed time? I'm here, still reeling from news so staggering, so raw, that it beat the dawn to my door, uninvited and cold. A new storm has gathered. Google, architect of our digital tomorrow, has peered into the mind of future quantum computers and found something chilling. In the years ahead, the fortress of Bitcoin could be challenged in a matter of minutes. Yes, minutes. The time it takes to pour a coffee and stare at your reflection, wondering if everything is as secure as you once believed. Before my thoughts race ahead, and they will, lean in with me for a second. If this hits you, if the world of crypto feels suddenly fragile, subscribe to Crypto 101 Central. This is where we break things down together, step by step. So, what did Google see in this possible future that forced them to rethink Bitcoin's resilience? Let me bring you into that space. Their research suggests that advances in quantum computing could significantly reduce the resources once thought necessary to break current cryptographic systems. What once required unimaginable scale may, over time, become more accessible. This isn't a certainty, but it is a direction worth paying attention to. The implication is simple. Timelines that once felt distant may be closer than expected. I find myself caught between concern and curiosity, watching Bitcoin's developers respond to this evolving landscape. They're not ignoring it, they never have. Even Satoshi Nakamoto, years ago, acknowledged that stronger cryptography could eventually be needed. And today, that conversation is active again. Proposals, research, and potential upgrades designed to ensure the network adapts rather than breaks. Here's where things widen. If quantum computing truly reaches that level, it doesn't just affect Bitcoin. It affects everything. Global banking systems like SWIFT, stock exchanges, secure communications, military infrastructure, every system built on modern encryption would face the same challenge. The difference is how each system responds. Centralized systems can adapt quickly. Decentralized ones require coordination. That's both a strength and a weakness. And then there are the institutions. Michael Saylor and others aren't stepping back, they're leaning in. Building, coordinating, thinking long-term. Not reacting to headlines, but preparing for structural shifts. Because when you operate at that level, the focus isn't on today's fear, it's on tomorrow's infrastructure. At the same time, major players like BlackRock and others continue accumulating. While retail reacts emotionally, institutions tend to operate on longer timelines. They're not ignoring risk, they're pricing it differently. And that leads to an important idea. Bitcoin isn't safe because it's untouchable. It's resilient because its vulnerabilities are visible. If a real threat emerges, it won't happen in silence. It will be seen, studied, and responded to by developers, institutions, and the entire ecosystem. Even voices like Warren Buffett, historically critical, remind us of something simpler. Long-term survival often comes down to patience and positioning, not reaction. There's also a broader shift happening. Morgan Stanley, once dismissive, now participates. Banks that once resisted are now integrating. What was once rejected is now being built into the system. Not because narratives changed, but because incentives did. And beyond institutions, there's a geopolitical layer. Discussions around strategic reserves, mining infrastructure, and energy independence are becoming part of the conversation. Bitcoin is no longer just an asset, it's increasingly viewed as infrastructure. So where does that leave us? Somewhere between uncertainty and evolution. Yes, new technologies introduce new risks. But they also force systems to improve. Bitcoin is not static, it never has been. Every challenge, technical, regulatory, or economic, has pushed it forward. So no, the world doesn't end in minutes. It adapts. If you felt something in this, if this made you pause, think, question, leave a like. Share your perspective below. Are you concerned, curious, or simply observing? And if you want to keep exploring these shifts, these deeper layers behind the headlines, stay connected to Crypto 101 Central. Because this story isn't ending. It's just evolving.